it's Sue. Welcome back to my channel today. Hope you're well. Hope you had a really good weekend. It's Tuesday here in Australia at the moment. And I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I discovered a stash of these type of things. Cardstock with the hanging tags on the top. Don't know what you'd call those really. I know you can get punches that have the same. I mean, I've got this small, I don't know whether they call it a notch punch. It's a Stampin' Up punch, and I tend to use this along with a normal, well, either my crocodile or one of these, a normal one of these, hole punch. And actually that hole punch is slightly bigger than the crocodile, so often that works better for me. Right, so what I've done, I've worked on a couple just to show you. Now this rather large tag for me. It's what is it? It's just over 4 inches. It's be about 4 1/4. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is quite big for me for tags or journal cards. But what I did with this one, I had the cardboard from a Christmas pudding, and I don't know if it's the same way you are, and I'd hoped I'd saved a piece, but it doesn't look as if I did. Quite often, yes I did, here it is. The inside is this nice mottled sort of craft colour, and I quite like that, and we'll often use that, leave that, use the pattern side and leave that to write on. Because, as I say, it's quite handy. There's the piece, I've thrown it in the bin and I wanted to keep that. With this, to form this tag, because it was a circle, I literally just took off the other parts of the circle, left the bottom to give me this scallop. And then this was, this part was a topper for some craft goods I bought. And it was red, might have been a Christmassy thing, but it was roughly the right size. I think I trimmed it down a little bit, and I've just added that. I added coffee or tea-dyed paper to the back of my main piece, and then just collaged a few bits, added some lace, and this Prima flower that I've had for, years probably. But it matched the butterfly, so it was perfect. And then for the top, I wanted to bring out this colour, which is here and here. And I used a piece of origami paper and glued that on. And then, as I say, I just use a hole punch and then get my scissors in and cut out, or I use this little punch, and I can use this several times to get what I want, but eventually I end up tidying up with a pair of small scissors. So that's how that one was created, and I've just sewn all around it. And it's quite sturdy, it's quite thick, the card on that one. Now this one, again, I've covered both sides with tea-dyed paper, but this was a larger one of Tim Holtz cards, and they are really quite sturdy. It was printed on both sides. I mean, there was an area on the front here that was clear, but I decided to cover it all with tea-dyed paper. And it was still a bit long. It was actually that long. So what's that? About 6 1/2, I'd say. And I usually work on a length here of about 5.5. So I've covered it with the tea dye paper and then cut the bottom section off. And from that, I made this small tag just by trimming the corners and adding a little bit of what was left of this and this. This is an old German book page. This is the inside of an envelope, and a little bit of I found I had in amongst my stash a decoupage book, and there was lots and lots of stuff in there. I've cut out a little selection. Not that one, that one, that one. And I thought I'd use the larger of the images on the front of this card just to finish it off. A bee, and the little bird is stamped on there. So just a bit of twine in the top to finish that one off. And there are 2 tags just made using the cardboard that came with bought product. In my case, they were craft products. Okay, so I'll put those aside and that little piece. These are a couple that I've got here, but what I've done, we'll put that to one side for a minute. I've prepped this one, and I thought I'd use this one. And I'm going to use this one slightly differently. So we'll work on this one first. And what I've done already is to cover it with tea-dyed paper. I've covered it and made not my best job. You can actually smooth this around, just running some scissors over. Or, you know, nail file, around nail file, or file I should say, not so much a nail file, but a round file would work really good just to tidy up those pieces. So yeah, I've got this one, and I thought we can stamp it. I've got some stamps here. This was the stamp set I used for the little bird. And this is an Annabella stamp, an Australian company that sadly is no more. Okay, so I could stamp, this is a cherry blossom. I could stamp that on there, do a bit of colouring, add a label on the bottom. What else could I do? I could add floral image. Oh, how nice is that? Actually, I might do that. Yep. And maybe add a tag. Let's have a look. I've cut out a few more of Tracy's tags. But I really want yellows or greens. Yeah, I think we might use a couple of these green ones. Maybe add a tiny one up at the top there. I mean, as simple as that. That one or that one. I think that one. Okay. So you can't get more easy than this, and it makes just a nice little tag to pop into a pocket. So I'll just add some glue. Here we go. Let's use this. Oh, my glue stick's been open, so that's dried a bit. Oops. That one down there. This one up at the top. And we'll add this. Now if I can take that off, without too much trouble. I have got my fan on in the background. I apologise if that's a bit noisy. It's actually quite muggy here today. We had over 100 mil of rain in the last 24 hours. It suddenly remembered to rain again. And now, of course, the sun is trying to break through. There's still a few clouds around. Now, wrong way round, Mrs. Walsh, I think. Yeah, so it's pretty humid. Never mind. So that's that one, and I mean, I could sew around, I'll put it to one side and think about that one. Okay, so that's one very easy, straightforward tag. We could definitely sponge around the sides. Now this one, I thought I would do a bit differently. My plan is, I have this scrap of paper on my desk. It's obviously been cut from a larger piece, and this is a piece that I did some eco dyeing on, and it literally is the tail end of the eco dyeing. But it was folded like this, and I thought, oh, it's a matchbook. So what I thought I would do, I have trimmed up a few pieces of paper. There's some of my poetry book in there. There's some something with images, lines, map book. This one, and a piece of, that's the plain page in the front of a book. And I just thought I'd add all those together, ready to go inside our matchbook. And what I want to do is add this to the top, like that, turn it over to give it a bit of additional strength here. And then that can be, hung from a page. It can be used, popped into a pocket because it's got a bit more heft to it. I just thought it was a different way of using one of these. But first off, we need to cover it. And to cover it, I've opened it out. Put this one up here out of the way. It's a very scruffy looking bit of glue paper, but it will do. So I've got this piece of a digital, it's a scrap. Yeah, and that's big enough. So I'm going to glue across the whole of this. And then I'm going to, just to be sure, add a little bit of art glitter glue around these areas and down these sides. Okay. And then just pop that over the top. There we go. Make sure that's well glued down. My chair, I don't know whether my floor's not particularly straight. My chair down this end of the room keeps sliding away from me. If I suddenly disappear, you'll know why. Oh dear. Right. Okay, I think that's adhered well. So we'll just trim that off. Put that in the scrap box. Okay. And what I do is I push into that area there so that I can see it. I need a tissue. Got a bit of glue on this. Okay, so we push into there and on this side. Right, now we want to fold it. So we just tease it around the bone folder. just because it's not quite dry. It's pretty good. So we're going to punch that hole. It's pretty good. And now you could just put your scissors in and cut up to that point. I mean, you can actually mark it a bit better. See, I got that spot on. Let's see. Maybe we'll do one either way. Just poking into there. We'll do one by cutting. Once you've started, of course you can turn it over and go from inside, which is a lot easier to see. This is where I say a little round file would really work well. Okay, and these pieces, we can just glue those down. And then this one we'll try with the little notch punch. Just stuck to the edge of the punch there. Actually, the hand cut one did better. Go figure. Let's see. That's a bit better. There we go. All right, and by the time you've inked it, it doesn't look too bad. All right, so we'll call that done. Okay, so I'm happy with that for now. Now, with this piece, let's just have a look at this. I think I might turn that round. Yep. So we'll have a look at this edge, because I can't cut a straight line with scissors at least. I'm going to use a blade. These are just scrappy bits that I've had lying around for a long time. But these kind of projects are quite good to use up those pieces. Okay, trim some off there. We don't want it that wide. We just want it like paper lace. Okay, do it the other way. That's that. Now, our pieces of spare paper or scrap paper, whatever you want to call it, we'll just line those all up. They're all there. Let's get these up near the top there because I'm going to staple them. Oh, I've forgotten about this. This is also a hole punch. Oh well, hopefully we won't see those. That is so funny. I had forgotten. Oh dear. So now what we want to do is to attach this to our card. And we'll do that with glue on this side. So you won't see those staples when it's finished. So we just marry that up to the end, the edge there, and glue it down. So it's well clear of this. So the next thing is to glue this down. And the way we do that is we add our glue to the back of this card. Make sure we've got glue around there. That will do. Glue it down. There we go. That clips up there. And then you could do like a tie that goes around it, the whole thing. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I want to do a bit of inking. Okay, so same again. Do we want to decorate the front of this a little bit? My dirty board. Get rid of all of this. Put those back. How cute is that? I think it might be that. I could use. I just noticed I could add that up here. There. So that piece there. Now, I also have some little mushrooms. And she's sitting on one like this. That's quite cute. Yeah. I don't like all that white edge. There we go. So that's another way to use one of those tag toppers or project choppers, I don't know what you call them. And that would look nice in a pocket, or just pinned to a page. So that's the second one. Now, what else have we got? We have this one. This one I think we'll leave. I am thinking that would just go on top. We'd cover that plain and put that as just like, you know, 1.5 inch topper to a page. But we'll cover this one because it's out on the desk. And let's see. Yeah, that should fit. If do it that way, does that fit? Ooh, just. Okay. So we'll glue across the front. And these shape tops are a lot easier. I mean, basically you can punch a hole and then just get your scissors in, and they're much easier. Okay, so that one is more or less good. It took a bit of doing that one. It's definitely easier with the scissors, I think. Anyway, that one I'm happy enough with. Now I thought what I'd do is I'm going to stamp, and this is using, what is it, antique linen. And let's just get a bit of scrap paper here. So you can see, you can hardly see it. It's just a faint outline. I really like that. So I've stamped, and now I have this image, oops, that came from the set I bought not so long ago. It was all, they were all cut. They're the ones with the bits of gold and whatever in there. Actually, yeah, no, they're really nice. I looked at this. I wasn't sure whether to use this one, but in the end, I decided on that. And I'll show you what I'm going to put under it. So I was thinking this piece of mulberry paper will go here. You'll only just see my stamped piece, but that's fine. don't mind that. Could take that back a bit maybe. You know what, I'm going to go back to this one. I just think it's a bit bolder, that's a bit pale. Okay, so do we want that? Have we got this one again? I quite like this one. And we can put that one right at the top. Yep. I don't want it on upside down. I'll pop that there. Okay, and again, this one could be stitched, but I'm not going to stitch it today. Okay, so that was just an idea of things that you can do with those store labels, you know, the toppers, hanging toppers, perhaps that's what they call them. Basic tags, you know, covered decorated tags. That one is shaped, so that's a bit different. And this one, my personal favourite. Oops. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope it's given you some ideas for some of your own. I'm sure there's loads of different things you can do with them, but they're the ones that come to mind for me. Okay, thank you so much for calling round to my channel today. I'm always pleased to see you here, and I hope you'll come back for the next video. Okay, bye now.